Have you ever felt like your emotions take over in moments of anxiety or sadness? Like your brain just freezes and you can't think clearly? This happens because our brain switches to emotional survival mode, making rational decision-making more difficult. But the good news is that there are strategies to manage this. In today's video, you'll learn coping skills for anxiety and depression, as well as techniques to process your emotions in a healthy way. So, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Let's learn how to regulate our emotions together. When we experience intense anxiety or sadness, our brain doesn't function as usual. Instead of thinking clearly, it shifts into survival mode, as if we were facing real danger. This happens because the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for detecting threats, takes control. It triggers the fight, flight, or freeze response, temporarily shutting down our ability to think logically. The problem? Everyday situations, like receiving negative feedback, dealing with a conflict, or speaking in public, aren't real threats, but our brain reacts as if they were. This explains why we often make impulsive decisions when we're emotional, like sending a message we later regret or avoiding an important conversation. So how can we regain control in these situations? Let's talk about that in the next section. Now that we understand how intense emotions can impact our decisions, let's discuss how to regain emotional balance. That's where coping skills come in. These strategies help us shift from an emotional state back to rational thinking, preventing anxiety or sadness from completely taking over. However, it's important to remember that not all coping strategies are healthy. Some can lead to dependency or even keep us from addressing the real issue. Here are the different types of coping skills. Sensory. Using physical stimuli to calm the nervous system. This could include feeling a comforting texture, listening to relaxing music, using a soothing scent, or simply taking a walk in nature. Cognitive. Techniques that engage the mind, such as journaling, practicing meditation, mindfulness, or muscle relaxation exercises. Active. Strategies that involve taking action, like using humor, engaging in sports, or exploring creative hobbies. Social. Seeking support from others, whether by talking to a trusted person or interacting with a pet. The key is to experiment with different strategies and find what works best for you. But are we really using these strategies correctly? Next, we'll explore a practical method to assess our emotional state before reacting impulsively. Before reacting to intense emotions, there's a simple method that can help us understand what we're feeling. It's called HALT, an acronym that reminds us to assess 4 key factors before making any decision. H. Hungry. When we're hungry, our body releases stress hormones, which can make us more irritable or anxious. Before acting, ask yourself, am I hungry? Could this be affecting my mood? A. Angry. Anger can lead to impulsive reactions. If you notice you're feeling irritated, take a moment before making any decisions. Deep breathing or writing down your feelings can help clear your mind. L. Lonely. Loneliness can amplify negative emotions. If you feel emotionally overwhelmed, it may be time to reach out to someone you trust. T. Tired. Fatigue lowers our ability to handle challenges and increases stress. Sometimes, a good night's sleep or a short break can make a big difference in how we process emotions. When you feel the urge to react impulsively, pause and do a HALT check-in. More often than not, what we need isn't an immediate reaction, but to address a basic need before making a decision. Now that we've learned how to evaluate our emotions before reacting, let's discuss the difference between healthy coping and emotional avoidance. Using coping skills is essential for managing difficult emotions, but there's a key point to remember. They should help us face challenges, not avoid them. Many times, without realizing it, we use certain strategies just to escape discomfort rather than addressing the real issue. This can become a harmful cycle, leading to behaviors such as excessive distractions, constantly using social media, TV, or video games to avoid thinking about problems, escaping through shopping or food, seeking immediate relief by buying unnecessary things or eating without real hunger. Social withdrawal, avoiding contact with friends and family instead of seeking support. On the other hand, healthy coping means recognizing emotions and choosing a strategy that genuinely helps us process them. A useful exercise is identifying 3 healthy activities that work for you and 3 supportive contacts for difficult moments. Example of healthy coping. If you've had a stressful day at work and feel emotionally overwhelmed, instead of scrolling through your phone for hours, you could engage in physical activity or take a walk outside. Write about your feelings to organize your thoughts. Talk to a trusted friend about the situation. The difference between coping and avoidance lies in the intention. Are you dealing with the problem or just postponing it? Next, we'll explore how to adapt coping strategies to different environments and seek support when needed. Every environment presents different challenges, and not all coping strategies work the same way everywhere. That's why it's important to adapt techniques to the context. For example, at home, physical strategies like stretching, listening to relaxing music, or taking a warm bath. At work, breathing exercises or journaling may be more practical than going for a run. At school or college, cognitive techniques like mindfulness or strategic breaks can help maintain focus. Knowing which strategies to use in each situation gives us more autonomy to handle difficult emotions without feeling stuck or helpless. Additionally, during intense crises, it's crucial to be aware of available support resources. Some options include emotional support hotlines, such as suicide prevention centers, apps and online services for mental health support, mental health professionals, such as therapists and psychologists. If emotions become too overwhelming and persist for long periods, seeking professional help is essential. Remember, asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's an act of courage. Now that we've covered how to choose the right strategies for different environments, let's take a deeper look at how emotions influence our automatic reactions and how we can take control of this process. Emotions play a fundamental role in our survival. In the past, feeling fear after hearing a noise in the forest could mean the difference between life and being attacked by a predator. Today, however, our brain still reacts the same way to situations that aren't actual threats, like receiving criticism at work or dealing with an unexpected problem. This happens because the brain interprets any threat to our emotional well-being as if it were a physical danger. The problem is that this automatic response can lead to impulsive and even harmful decisions. That's where coping skills come in. They help reduce emotional intensity in the short term, allowing rational thinking to take control again. However, there's an important warning. Using these strategies only to ease discomfort without addressing the root cause of the emotion can create a pattern of avoidance. Practical example. Imagine you're feeling anxious before a presentation and decide to watch an episode of your favorite show to relax. If this helps you calm down and then return to practicing your speech, it's a healthy use of coping. But if you end up binge-watching multiple episodes to avoid practicing, it can actually increase your anxiety. A useful technique to avoid acting on impulse is the 90-second rule. When you feel an intense emotion, wait 90 seconds before reacting. Take a deep breath, observe your feelings, and consciously choose how to respond to the situation. This short pause can make a huge difference, helping prevent regrets and allowing for a more balanced response. Now, let's talk about the role of breaks and rest in emotional regulation and the risks of excessive distraction strategies. Have you ever noticed how, after a good night's sleep or a short break, a problem seems less overwhelming? That's because our brain needs pauses to process emotions and restore balance. Proper rest improves decision-making and helps us react more clearly to challenges. However, we need to be careful. Rest is not the same as emotional avoidance. Practical example to differentiate healthy rest from avoidance. If after resting, you feel more prepared to handle the problem, it was productive rest. If after the break, you feel even more anxious or guilty, you might be using distractions to avoid the situation. Some effective ways to rest and regulate emotions include quality sleep. A good night's rest helps rebalance emotions. Active breaks, short walks, deep breathing, or enjoyable activities help restore mental clarity. Moments of introspection. Writing about your feelings or simply allowing yourself to process emotions can be more effective than suppressing them. On the other hand, excessive distractions, like spending hours on social media or completely avoiding self-reflection, can trap us in cycles of anxiety. The key is balance. Use coping skills to relieve emotional distress while also actively working to solve the problem. Dealing with intense emotions is challenging, but with the right strategies, we can regain balance. Our brain switches to survival mode, impacting decision-making. Coping skills help regulate emotions without falling into avoidance. The HALT technique and mindful pauses prevent impulsive reactions. Rest is essential, but it must be used wisely. Start applying one of these strategies today. Like this video, share your experience in the comments, and send it to someone who could benefit from these tips. See you in the next video.